Welcome everyone, it's the Crypto Lark. Very excited today to have the chance to speak with Dr. Ming from BlockCloud. How's it going?
Hi, Crypto Lark. It's a great to meet you. Hi, everyone.
Excellent. Now, we're going to be jumping in and really discussing what BlockCloud is doing, what their novel DAG structure is all about, and looking at some of their partnerships and things like this. Now, just before we do jump into all of that conversation, just a big thank you to the team at BlockCloud for supporting the channel by sponsoring today's video. And a reminder, as always, guys, make sure you do your own research on any given project. There are some links down below where you can get more information about BlockCloud and what they're doing, and also connect with the community. Now, I think where we need to start is the elevator pitch. Give us the big vision of what BlockCloud is trying to do.
Thank you. So BlockCloud aims to reinvent the road on which modern applications drive on. It is a blockchain-based advanced TCP/IP that improves and upgrades the existing internet. Combining the advantages of blockchain and future internet technology, it reconstructs the technology layers below where current blockchain networks and internet applications operate. BlockCloud serves as the building block to provide constant connectivity for dynamic networks. It will provide better mobility, credibility, incentives, security, fairness, and scalability to upper layer applications. The application scenarios of BlockCloud include 5G, edge computing, IoT, artificial intelligence, streaming services, and mobile networks. Thanks.
Wow. That's a lot to unpack. That's a lot to unpack. We're going to unpack quite a bit of that here in the interview. But I want to start off with this idea of blockchain-based TCP/IP. What is that? Can you explain that for us?
The current TCP/IP architecture was designed about 60 years ago, and at that time, the internet was not moving, and there were little mechanisms to provide credibility in the network stack. So combining the advantage of blockchain, we provide better credibility to the lower to the TCP layer, and also we are using future internet technologies like service-centric networking to improve the performance of the current internet.
It's amazing to me that so much of the internet we use today is based on things from a very long time ago that haven't really been upgraded for the modern internet, the internet of the Internet of Things and 5G and all this stuff. So we really have a lot of work to make the internet a much, much better place. And obviously BlockCloud is a part of that. Now, can you explain a little bit too, what is service-centric networking?
Sure. So service-centric networking is a new kind of internet technology comparing to the address-based communication model. So originally, the communication model of the internet is address-based, so a fixed IP to another fixed IP. But it is very inconvenient for supporting large-scale dynamic networks, for example, mobile networks or IoT. But by inserting an intermediate service layer in the network protocol stack, the host can request services from the network stack in the form of service names instead of IP addresses. So through the service-driven communication model, the traditional end-to-end communication model is modified to the end-to-network communication mode. Thereby, it can fundamentally improve the mobility, scalability, and efficiency of the network.
Now, BlockCloud is working on a novel DAG structure. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, a DAG is a directed acyclic graph. You guys are working on something called a CoDAG, which is the compacted directed acyclic graph. So can you kind of explain just on a very sort of high level what that is and why it is something that you chose over a basic DAG architecture?
Sure. So the CoDAG is actually a hybrid consensus mechanism, and it combines the proof of work and the data structure. In order to improve the transaction speed, we developed CoDAG to solve two things. One is the speed of proof of work, and another thing is the security of the traditional DAG-based data structure. So by using CoDAG, we can improve the consensus system and improve the transaction speed. And by controlling the divergence width of the graph, it solves the problems of the traditional IOTA, Tango, and other systems, and guarantees the confirmation speed and the security of the transaction.
Mm-hmm. So basically, like an evolution of the DAG.
Right. Right.
Now, I want to explore some of the use cases because I just find this super interesting. The potential of the technology. Obviously, how the technology works is very important too. But when we're talking about the actual use cases, how people can feel this in their sort of day-to-day life, I want to explore a little bit about the IoT aspects. So
Right.
let's take smart vehicles as an example. So
Right.
how is BlockCloud going to enable the IoT revolution in terms of vehicles?
This is a very good question because we are currently collaborating with a telecommunication company and a transportation company to a real smart transportation project. It is in a provincial transportation project that there are about 300,000 cameras on the road. Yeah, and the cameras want to automatically detect traffic accidents by artificial intelligence.
Mm.
But to do this, it has to transfer a huge amount of data. And that data, if you use the traditional 4G technology, one camera, it will cost one camera about $500 each month.
That's a
And
lot over
also,
300,000 cameras.
and the speed is not acceptable because the amount of data is really huge. But BlockCloud is used to connect all those cameras and provide a effective edge computing mechanism that the data can be transferred to a nearby server, and also the cost is significantly reduced to $50 each month.
Wow, so that's a 90% cost reduction by
Right.
using BlockCloud. That's amazing.
So BlockCloud does not do the artificial intelligence to detect the traffic accident, but it built the overlay network to connect those cameras to largely reduce the cost and improve the transmission speed.
Wow, that's
And
really big
Block
in terms of cost
Right,
savings.
right. That scenario needs the support of edge computing. So a lot of edge computing units near the cameras, and that needs the blockchain technology to provide credibility and to record the transactions.
Very cool. Now, I want to explore maybe just another use case just to really give people the idea of how this technology is going to work in the real world.
Right.
So let's talk about smart homes.
Okay. So we have another real case business. We are collaborating with a Chinese telecommunication company developing smart home devices. Currently, we have developed a smart box that connects to various IoT devices in the homes, like smart television, smart air conditioner, and smart lights.
Hmm.
And all those devices that can be connected to the internet are currently connected to that box, and that box will provide a really good network uh, performance to guarantee the network speed, to provide the reliable data transmission, and also it can connect to other devices in other homes from other people to share the resources and to share the uh, storage, to share bandwidth and computational power to build a large overlay network of smart homes. This is what we are currently doing. And that box, I think we will begin to sell it uh, by the end of this year.
Wow. That's
Hmm.
really cool. And I like how these are partnerships that are existing now. These are ways that you're exploring of implementing this technology today, which is very exciting. And look, those are just two use cases. There's a lot more that we could explore here at healthcare and a whole bunch of others, but that I think that gives people in the audience a really good idea of just how this technology can actually be used. Now, I want to explore the Block Cloud Marketplace. So this is kind of
Right.
adapt to facilitate the exchange value between the service providers and the subscribers. But can you kind of explain to us like what that's going to look like? What that marketplace is actually going to have in it, and what the basically how it's going to work.
Right. This is a very good question. So, BlockCloud is an overlay network for disseminating and to use services. And by BlockCloud itself is you can regard BlockCloud as a kind of a marketplace. So developers or enterprises or service providers can build their services or can program to upload their programs or applications, or like in BlockCloud system is more kind of like a function into BlockCloud system. And the BlockCloud system will automatically disseminate those services around the BlockCloud ecosystem. And whenever a user wants to use this service, it just requests this service from the BlockCloud system, and it never needs to understand where the service is, who is providing the service, and uh, how to route to the service. The BlockCloud system will automatically find the nearest server that hosts that service to the user. And if that server or computing unit fails, and it will automatically reroute the service to another server or unit. This is something like a marketplace. So you just for provider, you just publish your service to the system, and you doesn't need to know who will use it in the future. And the
Mm-hmm.
user just request the service from the system, and you never need to know who is providing it or where it is or something. And this is why blockchain is important in our system, and crypto is important uh, so because the service provider and service user do not know each other, we need a blockchain to provide credibility for the providers and users, and we need the blockchain to record the transactions, and we need the cryptos to make the payment.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about
Yeah.
reliability of payments too, right? Because you're
Right.
dealing with a situation where
Right.
the service provider and the people who want the services don't know each other and
Right. Right.
will
Right.
never meet. You can
Right.
actually have this intermediary, which is the trustless system, which is the blockchain, which
Right.
can set
Right.
up the escrows
Right.
and things in order
Right.
to handle these transactions, which is
Right.
fantastic in terms of course, user experience. Now, I want to explore a little bit about some of your partners because you guys have got a
Mhm.
lot of partnerships already. And I want to start off with the blockchain world. Now, we've got Cardia Chain and Walton and ARPA and Anchor and Multivac
Mhm.
and Top, and that's a lot of
Right.
partners just there. So, can
Right.
you explore a little bit with us what you're actually doing with these different blockchain partners.
Right. This is a very good question. So, blockchain is a layer zero solution that in the network stack, we improve the performance of the network basically. So the typical way we collaborate with other blockchain projects is that we provide a under layer solution for them to uh, uh, provide them with a better network performance, and they can integrate their technology with BlockCloud to do upper layer business logic.
Excellent. So basically, they're running their basic chains, and you're
Right,
coming in to give them additional functionality in terms of connecting them with IoT devices and things like this.
right.
Now, outside of the blockchain world, you also have some very interesting partners. So you can tell us about a few of your
Right.
non-blockchain partners and what you're doing with them. I know you've already told us a little bit about some of the people you're working with, like with the vehicles, for example. But can you expand on that a little bit for us?
Sure. So actually, we have just talked about two kinds of those partners. One is the transportation company we are collaborating with to do the smart transportation. So another is a telecommunication company. We are making the smart home box together. Those are all non-blockchain enterprises, very traditional. And so our potential customers includes telecommunication companies, IoT manufacturers, and streaming service providers, and also a lot of enterprises in the internet industry that needs a high efficiency network.
Mm-hmm. And now as well, you've got is it Odeman? It's got about 8 million users. That's kind of the parent of BlockCloud.
Uh, Otmo and BlockCloud are completely separate companies, but so it's our previous company that uh, does IoT business. A lot of people, because it's already been a stable business, so a lot of people are from Odemo are doing the provided a lot of support for BlockCloud from the at the very beginning, but now it is just another matured business of us, and BlockCloud and Odemo are completely separate.
I think even if it is separate, I think it really says a lot that you've got this experience under your belt.
Right.
That
It's a
you know
great
you've
experience.
you've got a lot of IoT experience in particular, which
Right.
obviously is one of the many use cases of BlockCloud.
Right.
Obviously, is not the only one. It's one we've talked about a lot here, but there is a lot of use cases outside of just that narrow focus on IoT, right? Because what you're building is a piece of infrastructure that can be used for networking and for IoT and for payments and all these different things.
Right.
Now, one question, of course, that I know a lot of people in the community are going to want to know about is when are we going to see a new exchange listing?
It will be in the near future. Maybe so in Q3, we are definitely go to new exchanges, and we would love to see you in new exchanges in the very near future.
Very cool. Now, in terms of development, where are we at now? I know the test net is scheduled to come out this year. Is that still something that you think is going to be achieved?
Yes. So actually, it's already under tested, and the test performance is really good. So we are going to release the testnet by Q3, very likely by Q3, and the latest date will be no later than the end of this year. And together with our testnet, we will release our staking plan, and more and more people can join our ecosystem to to provide value and enjoy it.
So right now, basically, you're kind of on a private test net, and we'll have a public test net that people can actually come and participate in later in the
Right,
year.
right, right, right.
Can you give
Developer
us
will be able to.
can you
Yeah.
give us any more information on staking? Is there going to be minimum requirements? You'll have to have this amount of block tokens in order to be able to stake, for example. What will that look like? Can you give us any details on it today?
The detailed number of the block, maybe we will release it in the future, but I can briefly discuss the how it looks like. It's like in the BlockCloud system, we need a lot of miners who can host services. For example, we just talk about the service provider just publish service into the system, and the system will automatically disseminate the service around the system and the network. So by disseminating the services, there should be a lot of computing units who can host those services to provide the service to the nearby users. And that is called miners in our system. And by hosting those services, the miners will be rewarded by tokens, and also they will check the credibility of the services. And anyone who wants to be the miners or virtual miners actually can be. Can be our participants of our staking economy, and they help to the more miners or the more people joining the staking economy, the better the performance of the system, or the stronger the system will be, and the more people joining the system, the more people holding the tokens, and the value of the tokens will be the higher the value of the tokens will be. And so that's a positive. And that's the basic idea of our staking plan. And for the details, I think we will have a specific article about it when it is released.
Excellent. And the final question here for you, except for obviously the testnet and more information about the staking, what else can we expect from BlockCloud in 2019?
In 2019? Okay, that's a very good question. So testnet, staking, and business, some really fantastic and great use cases, and also more exchanges, and stronger community.
Excellent, excellent. Well, if anybody wants to join that community, again, there's links down below where you can go and engage with the community, ask any more questions that you might have directly to the community. Of course, you can find a lot of people there that can help answer those questions for you. And of course, go and check out the website where you can find some more information on BlockCloud and their vision and what they're doing. Dr. Ming, thank you so much for coming on today and telling everyone a bit about what BlockCloud is up to. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lark. Bye.